Hey there, people of YouTube. Today I kind of want to talk about the closed beta for Marvel's Tokon Fighting Souls. So I did get into the closed beta. I know a lot of people didn't, or there was like a whole lot of controversy about who got in, who didn't get on, etc. So overall, like this is a game that I've been excited for. I think it's definitely weird that there's a lot of big names that didn't get into the beta. From what I hear, from what I see online, is that a lot of people have been getting into the beta. Um, so it's just kind of weird. This whole beta situation that Marvel Tokon is in definitely is a weird way to kind of lay out a closed beta. I don't think there's a whole lot of good PR around it as far as just the way that they handled it. So just to kind of go over really quick how this closed beta worked. So you have to go in and you have to work with PlayStation, pretty much attach your PlayStation Online account to the beta program, and then from there they would issue an invite whether or not you want to sign up for the closed beta for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. So I got that invite. I registered whatever. Got the invite to play the game on day one, like I guess a decent amount of people, but there was a lot of big names that didn't get into it, a lot of content creators that didn't get into it, people that you'd expect from the FGC, who have a lot more information than your regular casual, who would probably be able to play this game, understand it a lot better, pick it up, and like really showcase what it has to offer. With that being said, there was just a whole lot of not the right people. Not want to say right people getting in, but definitely like some big names that would help you market the game better, and some big names that'll probably showcase this game better did not get in, at least on day one. From what I see online, is that a lot of them said that this has been rectified. A lot of them have got their invites finally. So there's gonna be a whole lot more people, really, really diving deep into what this game has to offer. The other weird thing about this beta is kind of the way it plays out. So, for example, every other beta that I've ever been a part of, whether it be for first-person shooters, fighting games, etc., it's always like, let's say, from this weekend, like starting Friday at like 9 a.m. to like Sunday at midnight. That's the length of the beta. Go ahead and play it. This game has like a weird time slot where it's like, um, for Pacific time, like me, I was able to play as of yesterday, Friday, 9 p.m. up until like 3 in the morning. Then the beta goes offline, and then it goes back online, and it goes offline, and it goes back online, which I guess Arc System Works isn't as big, I think, as some other companies are. So maybe that's just for them to help kind of like all hands on deck focus on this beta for this period, go back, fix mistakes. That's my guess, that's my theory. With all that being said, like this is a partnership with Sony, so I feel like Sony would be able to put a lot more hands on this, especially with again this being a published product from Sony. I know an Arc System definitely has their own mistakes typically when they do betas. Anyone who played like the Dragon Ball Fighters beta or the Guilty Gear Strive betas definitely can say that there was a lot of early mistakes. But yeah, overall, as far as like the release of this beta has definitely been handled not the best. A couple other things that I kind of want to mention that I don't like about either Arc Systems or their betas. Their betas are always very, very buggy typically. So one of the first things I noticed is that a lot of the connection was really, really bad, even if like we had like perfect connection with the other player. Definitely not having the strongest, latency. There was definitely a lot of lag early on. It seemed like they kind of fixed it, or maybe just things got better throughout the duration of the beta. But there was definitely like on that first session of me trying to play the game, every match I was playing was super, super buggy. Every match was playing was super, super laggy. So it was definitely not the greatest experience, especially when this is so limited as far as when we're allowed to play it. It definitely did not help. My time playing it on Friday was not that fun. When I got on this morning, it was definitely a lot better, a lot smoother, and a lot more fun. And I was able to dive deeper into what I was able to play from this game. Those are just like, I guess, the bad stuff about the game, or at least the way that this beta has been handled. The stuff that I thought was really, really good is, I mean, just overall, this game is probably one of the most unique tag fighters I've played in a very long time. I grew up playing like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, SNK versus Capcom, etc. So this game playing as a 4v4 fighter, one is very, very unique. It's also not really a tag fighter. I think that Arc System Works is kind of like saying it can be a tag fighter, it cannot be a tag fighter, it could be like just a main character with 3 assists, kind of however you want to play it. And I didn't understand that when they first started talking about it, but as I kind of started playing this game, I started to realize that there's definitely characters you're going to lean towards sooner and faster. You're going to pick up certain characters a lot quicker. So like for me, I kept trying to play Captain America a lot, and then I kept realizing that it just wasn't really great with Captain America. And Miss Marvel, for whatever reason, worked really well for me. So I noticed that Miss Marvel was a character that I was gravitating towards a lot quicker. I utilized her a whole lot more than I utilized my other characters. I definitely used like Iron Man and Star Lord. I rarely ever touch. I kind of just use them for their assists. Captain America and Miss Marvel kind of switch in and out, but definitely leaning heavy on the one character to kind of carry the team. And the fact that this is a shared health bar definitely means that, again, like, you don't have to tag out pretty much ever. I think it is good to like have some basic fundamentals with whoever is on your team, and especially understanding like your assists. I was noticing that Storm again was a character that you start off your 4 characters with Miss Marvel, Captain America, Storm, and Iron Man. And Storm was a character whose assist I did not like, so I swapped her out for Star Lord, and then that helped me out a lot. Learning how to play that assist character with Miss Marvel as like my main character was definitely like something that helped me out a lot. As I'm kind of playing through this beta, there's definitely a lot of very, very, very fun and engaging moments that happen. You know, I mean, that kind of happens with all fighting games, but I definitely feel like for this fighting game, it never felt like I was. I had no chance of winning. Like, even there'll be moments where I'm getting slaughtered, and at, you know, the last finish line, I end up catching back up, or I end up pulling off some combos. So again, it never felt like I'm a down and out. Like, there's definitely always a chance. Even there was one time where the other player got a perfect on me, and then I exchanged back and got a perfect on them. And those type of moments felt really, really fun. I definitely love these early moments of fighting games when no one really knows what we're doing. We kind of have like the general gist of it, and we're all just kind of figuring stuff out. And there is a tutorial system in the very beginning of the beta that explains a decent amount, but there's so much going on in this fighting game. Like, there's so much different layers and tags and assists. It never really feels like you're going to be able to grasp most of it within this beta period, or even within the first year. This definitely feels like super, super fun entry with a huge ceiling. And I'm very excited to see where the FGC can take that ceiling. One of the things that, you know, as someone who's not that skilled at fighting games, like, I love fighting games with a burning passion. Like, that's something that I really, really love to play. But, like, I think my peak rank in Street Fighter 6 was Platinum. So it's just one of those type of things that I'm not the greatest the FGC has to offer or anything like that. But it's definitely something that I just love to play. I love to engage with fighting games. I love the community. And seeing a game like this that has, you know, huge mass appeal because, you know, the Marvel IP. Obviously, games like Marvel Rivals have shown that strong IP can bring in a huge audience. Now you just got to make sure that you have the right game there. So Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls definitely, for a fighting game, is really, really good. It's something that I can see not just, you know, the diehard fighting game FGC people getting into, but I could definitely see a lot of, you know, non-fighting game fans getting into it, more casual fans getting into it. There's definitely a whole lot of press button and wow effect happen, so it makes you feel like you're doing so many cool things. It's simple enough where anyone can pull off a combo. Now you just got to make sure that you're learning, you know, the animations and the movements, etc. That kind of stuff is going to be a little bit more tricky, I think. For this game being so flashy and so colorful, there's definitely a lot of times where I didn't know where my character was for a second. Like, I would lose them for 2 seconds, and then trying to figure out from there where I'm at was a little bit jaunty, especially at first. With that being said, like, I love the art direction. I love the way that they're kind of portraying this whole, you know, manga style version of Marvel, and I love the passion that goes into that and how committed they are to that bit. They're not really giving up on that, despite the fact that it's probably jaunting to kind of look at sometimes. It definitely becomes like a mash of colors sometimes that is hard to figure out where your character is at least early on, and at least for me. Maybe I'm just crazy and it's very, very easy for other people to kind of pinpoint that kind of stuff. With that being said, the game, it's not the most fast paced. Like if you ever played like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or even Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, sometimes those games were a lot more fast paced than this, I think. With that being said, this game's definitely has a lot. It's just a lot going on at one time. So definitely enjoying my time with this beta. And just to like sum up, I guess the overall impression I have of this beta, this game from just early on, super engaging. It definitely, I don't want to say it's bridging the gap between casual to like the FGC, because we'll have to see as the lifespan of this game continues, as metas gets figured out, etc. That's going to be easier to tell later on down the road. But it definitely has potential to do kind of similar to what like Smash Bros does, of like simplifying a fighting game to levels that a more casual audience can get involved in, while also being complex enough to keep the FGC engaged in finding combos and discovering metas. This is a game that can easily see like me and my brothers circling around a couch and kind of just passing the controller around and having fun with it, as well as me, diving deep, going into ranked and trying to like see how far I can, progress through there. The game, the way it's being presented, arc system, I think is definitely hitting their stride with what they've done in Guilty Gear Strive and Dragon Ball Fighters. They're definitely finding ways to beat like that echelon of fighting games where we're bridging the gap respectfully. I think there's always like that little controversy with games like Mortal Kombat, where they're not really for fighting game fans sometimes, that they're more so for like the casuals, and then Tekken, where it's too deep for the fighting game fans, where casuals aren't really invited into Tekken sometimes. This game, I think, is doing the thing that all fighting game companies are trying to figure out in a 2025 audience of how do we keep the fighting game genre relevant? How do we keep it fresh with new people coming in and being engaged? And time after time, Arc System has proven that they're their fighting game teams, their development teams that are developing their modern fighting games are being entries for a lot of non-fighting game fans. Tons of people came into the fighting game scene, to the FGC, with Dragon Ball Fighters. Tons of people carried over from Dragon Ball Fighters to Guilty Gear Strive. And now I can definitely see this kind of being that modern day effect of, there's going to be no doubt in my mind that people that aren't in the FGC are going to hop into this when it releases. For the sheer fact that Marvel's there. Marvel might not be as big as it is on the movies anymore, but definitely as an IP, it's stronger than it ever once was. So I'm very excited to see what this game does on release and what type of crowd it draws. I'm definitely drawn in. I don't really have a lot more thoughts, so I'm gonna just leave it at that. Let me know down below what you guys think. If you guys are in the beta, etc. Like, subscribe, blah 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 blah. See you guys next time.